The biggest mistake I've made with treating or managing my own spots is the way that I cleansed and the way that I nourished my skin afterwards. Hello and welcome to another newsletter with me, Dr. Sunny Dhesi. I'm here in my clinic in Rutland and this is Vysana Life. This is our weekly newsletter where I share tips, hints, any advice that I've picked up in clinic, advice from my medical background. Obviously, any advice is not for treatment purposes, it's just an opinion. And if you do have any medical problems, please do seek advice from your healthcare professional, from your own doctor, from your family physician, whoever you go to for treatment. So this week's newsletter encompasses our focus, as always, skin. If we can work on our skin, then we can work our way within and heal. On that basis, it's always menopause, mindfulness, and medicine. Some skincare tips, as I mentioned, and as always, a tie-up of what we've been doing in clinic as well. So I hope you do enjoy these newsletters. If you do, then please do head over to YouTube and subscribe, and we welcome comments and feedback. Thanks very much for watching. The biggest mistake I've made with treating or managing my own spots is the way that I cleansed and the way that I nourished my skin afterwards. So in my early 20s and even 30s as well, I suffered with breakout spots. There would be various triggers. I was in the army at the time, obviously deployments, wearing camouflage paint and things like that. That would always trigger, but it could also be due to food as well. Now, there's never any sort of conclusive evidence that specific foodstuffs trigger spots, but I'm not going to get into nutrition today. That is a matter for another time. But the biggest mistake I made was that I was using exfoliating cleansers on a daily or even twice daily basis and not using a moisturizer afterwards. So it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, it doesn't matter if you're in your 40s or postmenopausal, whether you're male or female. I think we get into the habit of over exfoliating, and that's possibly using things that are over the counter, the things that you might get from a high street sort of chemist or store, using those on a twice daily basis, and then almost liking the feeling of your skin being tight after cleansing. Now, that tight feeling is actually due to dehydration. And I always advise patients that dehydration is when, for example, you wash, you cleanse, maybe in the shower, and you come out and your skin feels tight. And if you put moisturizer in, it just sinks in, or it's sort of your skin feels like it's crying out moisturizer. Now, when you've got spots or breakouts, inherently you feel that your skin is greasy, but what's actually happening is dehydrated as well, especially after cleansing, after exfoliating. So the solution to my biggest mistake was I started to use less exfoliating cleanser. I would probably use it maybe 2 to 3 times a week, but only maybe in the evenings or in the mornings, depending on how my skin felt. How can you judge that? Well, when you cleanse and your skin feels tight, then perhaps use it in the evening. So for example, in the morning, you're cleansing, afterwards your skin feels tight, try it in the evening or vice versa. So I started to use a cleanser 2 to 3 times per week, and I would always ensure that I used a moisturizer afterwards. Now, sometimes we have some prescription treatments, or we might have some anti-acne serums or things like that. So what I learned was to cleanse, put those serums on, and then moisturize over the top. And actually, there are lots and lots of sunscreens now. Now, I think in my 20s I was a little bit of a stickler for sunscreen, but in my 30s and 40s I was much better. Sunscreens can feel heavy, but there are great products that you can use. There are some from Illumier, there are some from Abaji, there are some from La Roche, things like Clear Shield from Illumier. And using a layering approach then helped my skin stay stable throughout the day, and over time, maybe about 4 weeks, because guess what? 4 weeks is the time it takes for your skin cells to renew, and during that time, the inflammation from the acne reduced, the skin had a more stable barrier function. Now, I'm not saying that works all the time, still get triggers, but what it does do is calm everything down, and skin barrier function stays stable, skin's not dehydrated, and that is a solution to one of the biggest mistakes I was making when managing my spots. I hope that was useful. If you've got any comments, please do share. If you'd like to book in for a virtual consultation, then please check out our links. Thanks very much. My new favorite thing is to use hydrating masks. Something like this. We have these from Chroma in a clinic. This is a aloe vera green tea and rosehip oil post procedure mask. We use them after treatments like IPL. I was going to say laser. We don't have laser in clinic. We have IPL. IPL after peels, after our tribella treatment. So why is it my new favorite thing? Because I think when I'm using it myself and I put myself in my patient's shoes, is that during perimenopause and menopause, there are lots of things going on. So remember, our mantra is mindfulness, menopause, and medicine. It doesn't matter which order it's in, medicine, mindfulness, and menopause. It's our focus on not only tackling skin issues, but also tackling what's going on internally. Now, that may be from a medical point of view, or it might be from a mindfulness point of view. So this little tip is actually about mindfulness. So I often say to patients, why don't you pop this on in the morning, early in the morning, or in the evening, and keep it on for about 20-30 minutes. And I always get a look of surprise because I think 20-30 minutes is generally in a busy schedule is a luxury. So what I'm actually saying, what I'm trying to counsel on, what I'm trying to advise on is take that 30 minutes if you can. And what I would suggest is put the mask on. So before you put the mask on, rewind a little bit there. Is cleanse. Maybe use something a little bit more exfoliating because the mask is going to help to hydrate the skin. Put the mask on. If you've got Spotify, if you've got Amazon Music, whatever Apple Music, whatever you've got, is search for something called alpha brainwaves. And a playlist will come up. Now, I'm not going to get into too much about alpha brainwaves. That's another time. That's another long video, I'm sure. What I would suggest is find a playlist and choose something. Usually you get something like focus and create or relaxation. And lie down, the mask is on, play the music, play the alpha brainwaves music, and close your eyes and count backwards from 100. And what that will do is, one, you're working on your skin. And secondly, within 10 minutes, I mean, it won't take you 10 minutes to count back from 100, but within a few minutes, you will be in a more relaxed state. Your mind, your conscious mind is focused on counting back from 100. And as you count back, you're putting yourself into a deeper relaxation state. And that relaxation state is when your subconscious and your conscious become more congruent. Things that were bothering you can speed by in your mind, like speeding traffic. You don't really notice them. And you can start to focus on more prioritized thoughts or things that maybe are in your subconscious and you're wanting to think about them a bit more. So it's just a little trick. It's our mindfulness approach this week in the video newsletter. So as I will recap for you, a little bit of a summary is you can use a little bit of an exfoliating cleanser, pop the mask on, lie down, find an alpha brainwaves playlist on your music channel of choice, and close your eyes and count back from 100. And as you go into that deeper relaxation state, what you'll find is that your subconscious and your consciousness become more congruent, and you can actually stay in that state for as long as you want. And 20 minutes, 30 minutes goes by very quickly. It might make you feel a bit drowsy. So as always, please do not operate any machinery. You shouldn't be, you should be lying down. Anyway, joking aside, this is a great way of working on mindfulness, perhaps 2 to 3 times a week. If you can start doing it on a daily basis, that will work even better. And that's our mindfulness, menopause, and medicine tip for this week. Lastly, what's been going on in clinic? If you are interested to know, we have been doing a mixture of things as always. I, Dr. Sunny Dhesi here in Vysana, in Rutland. We have been doing lots of skin treatments as always. Wrinkle relaxing injections is always a steady state for us. We tend to have a bespoke approach. Patient reminders go out. So if you haven't booked in recently, you should have had a reminder. If you've ignored the reminder, then please do book in. Contact us at information@vysana.com or give us a call. We've been doing lots of skin boosters. Skin boosters is our real focus leading up to the summer, because in the summer we don't see patients as much. The sun is out, the weather is better. We have a little bit of wrinkle relaxing injections and maybe some dermal fillers coming in, but our focus is very much skincare and sun protection in the summer. We have been doing private GP. For those of you who don't know who's doing private, that we do private general practice here. We can treat various conditions. For sometimes it's a case of referring patients on to specialist care with some of our affiliated private care providers. And for some people, it's, for example, treating chest infections, urinary tract infections. In one case, we had a busy mum who couldn't get in with her GP, and she'd been suffering with a cough and cold. So I saw her for the first time. We assessed, absolutely, chest was fine. But a few days later, we put in, I sort of advised that if things don't get better, then please touch base with us. And a few days later, things were starting to get worse, a more productive cough. Now, productive cough doesn't always mean that it's a bacterial chest infection, but the patient came back in, we reassessed, and actually had turned more into a bacterial chest infection. Antibiotics were indicated. Now, antibiotics aren't always indicated. There's lots of viral infections going around at the moment, especially as kids back to school. On that note, we do a mixture of, as you can probably guess, as I'm going to say, it's skincare, it's mindfulness, and it's medicine, and it's also menopause advice as well, and perimenopause advice. But what I will end this on is that we do also treat men. So we have some male patients coming in for private GP appointments and also skincare appointments, especially this is Rosacea Awareness Month. A lot of men suffering with redness and rosacea have come in for management. It's a slow process. As men, we're sometimes not as tuned in with our own health. We're very lucky compared to women. I think, as I've always said, our healthcare system is not geared towards bespoke precision medicine for women, which is the way it should be. But that's what we're here. We're trying to innovate. We're trying to educate. And this is me, Dr. Sunny Dhesi at Vysana Life. That's our newsletter for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to sharing more with you next week. Thanks very much for watching.